Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on Comics from the Future this week. Happy Friday and happy October 1st. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we are going to show you all sorts of good stuff coming out. Lots of new number ones, some cool variants, just some really interesting things this week. So we will get into it soon. But first, my name's Megan.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Jason. We're with Infinity Flux Comics out of the lovely Chattanooga, Tennessee area.
That is right. And before we begin, if you could give us a special October 1st treat, just scroll down just a little bit and hit subscribe on our YouTube channel if you have not already. And if you have, thank you so much. So, it's a big week.
Yeah, you said it, Megan. A lot of number ones. So we're going to start with our featured comics. We chose just sort of 8 of the biggest ones to talk about first before people tune out or go make a sandwich or whatever people do.
You can watch and make a sandwich. I've done it before.
There you go. There you go.
Or
So
eat
you
the
heard it from Andy. But after that, we get to our other number ones. And I'll tell you, I think there's at least 12 other number ones we're going to talk about. So some pretty cool stuff. In fact, a few, when I read about them, I like so much, I wish I had featured them after learning more about them. So, but without further ado, here's obviously the biggest one.
Yes, it is finally time for the new Venom series. So this is going to be really cool. It is written by Al Ewing with, well, it's co-written actually by Al Ewing and Ram V. And it's going to have art by Brian Hitch. So, of course, everybody knows Al Ewing, super famous lately for, in the comic world at least, his character redefining Immortal Hulk series. So it's super cool to have him on Venom and see what he's going to do. So I thought it was really interesting. Ram V and Al Ewing are taking over co-writing duties together. So Ewing is going to focus on Eddie Brock and his new role as the King in Black, whereas Ram V is going to be focusing on Dylan Brock and his superhero beginnings. So it's supposed to intertwine and impact each other. So this will be super cool. I think it's a really unique way to tell a story. So yeah, I think that's the upshot of it. Of course, they're keeping a little bit of it a secret, but this is going to be a $5.99 issue number 1.
You know, I actually didn't know what you just said, and that makes sense because Eddie Brock has gotten so powerful that you've got to take him into space and cosmic territory, and that's what Al Ewing is really good at doing. So that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, on the cover, that's Dylan Brock. Yeah. That's not Eddie Brock.
With the chains. What's going to happen when Venom goes up against Ghost Rider and their chains get all tangled
They're going to get melted together. But it's really cool that Al Ewing has taken Donny Cates' run with bringing Dylan into it, and they haven't just left that behind and said, no, we're going to start something new. This is kind of that character building that I feel like really, that's how you get your new big characters, is other writers coming on and adding to the mythology and everything. So I think this is going to be really big, really defining for that character.
Yep.
That is all true. So make sure to sign up with your shop. Tell them you want to be on the full series. And let's check out some variant covers. That was our A cover. Up first, we have the BACHALO cover.
Cool.
And then the black blank variant. It's always cool to see a black blank variant.
For a second, I thought my eyesight just went out.
And then we have the DELLOTTO cover.
It's very neat.
Coming in next, INHYUK Lee.
Yeah, Lee does some great work. Lee does so many good covers.
Like his eye looks like it's made of milk.
Yes. Peach MOMOKO doing a Venom cover. Of course, she did a super cool iteration of Venom in Demon Days. And then up next, we have the NAUCK headshot variant.
I like that one.
That's great.
That's great.
That's really good. It's flying at you like Looney Tunes, you know, like busting through.
And lastly, we have the ROMITA Junior variant. So pick your favorite one. Let your store know which one you want because they probably won't get them all. Or they may get them all, but may not have enough for you to get the one you want. So go ahead and pre-order the new Venom number 1.
He's so wiggly right there.
Yeah.
His body, his tongue, he's so wiggly. So the new big book from DC, this is a maxi series, so that means 12-issue series. It's called The Human Target, and it's by Tom King with art by Greg Smallwood. So I don't know if everybody's really familiar with this character. He's been around for ages. They've even made TV shows based on him. But the Human Target, his name is Christopher Chance, and his job is he's a bodyguard who will impersonate the person who he is protecting, so that if somebody tries to attack or kill them, well, they get him. He's trained to deal with that. He's also a private investigator, so he's something of a detective as well. So in this, he is hired by Lex Luthor because, of course, Lex Luthor has a lot of enemies.
Mm.
But I guess Luthor has found out lately somebody is really, really going to try to kill him. So he poses as Luthor. Some things go down. I've read the first issue, but I can only tell you what's in the solicitation. I don't want to ruin it. We do a spoiler light show. Some things go down where somebody does try to kill Luthor, but in a way, they kind of kill Christopher Chance. I know that sounds really vague. It will make sense when you read it. Okay, let's just say dead man walking style dead, not necessarily flat out dead. And so now it's up to Chance to figure out who this person is, because it's more personal now. It isn't just I'm saving Luthor, it's he's saving his own life in a sense. So if the idea of some hard-boiled detective crime stuff mixed in a world with superheroes sounds good, then this is for you. And if you like Tom King's past work, you'll like this. It's got his writing style. You know, he hasn't veered. It's Tom King writing style in this one. And as you'll see in the variant here, it's going to be a connecting variant. This is the B cover to issue 1. I've already seen the B cover to issue 2. It's the other half of this scene. It looks really good. And it's a bunch of the characters from the Justice League International. So I think Justice League International is going to have a lot to do with this as well.
Yeah, you got Fire and Ice there. I think you could kind of tell from the other one with Guy Gardner and a lot of some pretty fun characters in that.
So
next up is another, I mean, it's kind of a 50-50 which is bigger, Venom or Hulk, because they swapped writers. This is now Donny Cates writing Hulk, and art is by Ryan Ottley, which I'm super excited about. Everyone knows him from Invincible and this most recent run of Amazing Spider-Man. But this time, they are taking on the Hulk. And I always think it's cool when Donny Cates takes over a book because he does something to shake it up every time. And with this one, you may have read a bit of it in the Free Comic Book Day book this year, but I didn't understand the full scope of it. So Bruce Banner is now almost piloting the Hulk. You could see a little bit better in issue 2 and in some of the preview pages. It's basically now like Bruce Banner has found a way to still be in control, like he's piloting the Hulk. He's using the Hulk's body, but he's all Bruce Banner. And it even kind of does a kind of what it looks like or whatever. You see Bruce Banner like sitting in a control booth, almost like he's in a Power Ranger or something, looking out of Hulk. So one, crazy concept, but really cool, something they haven't done before. And in this, Hulk is tired of Earth like he, has before, but this time he is going to space. So it says he's going to, of course, encounter a lot of crazy stuff. There's going to be other people out there, not just him. So it seems like maybe there's going to be someone along for the ride as well. And can Bruce Banner truly take complete control over Hulk, or is Hulk going to be co-piloting again? So, new ongoing series. This is the A cover by Ryan Ottley. Then, of course, you have a blank cover.
Mm-hmm.
You have and this is interesting. I'm not sure how many books are getting this. This is Infinity Saga Phase 1 variant. So these are reflecting the movies from the MCU Phase 1. This is the Incredible Hulk movie where he fought Abomination there. So going way back. It's funny they're starting with that one, I guess. I don't know. But, yep, so that is the Infinity Saga Phase 1 cover. Then we have the Dan Jurgens, very classic Hulk cover.
Yeah, very classic.
The Peach Momoko cover. And then there's going to be a McGuinness cover, who is very famous for his run on Hulk and introducing Red Hulk. So be on the lookout and let us know, because I think this is going to be a really big one. I have a lot of hope in this Hulk series.
There's a lot of readers who kind of follow Donny Cates to whatever he's on, so for good reason too.
All right, this is a really big indie one coming out called What's the Furthest Place from Here? It is from Image. It's written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Tyler Boss. Together they did 4 Kids Walk into a Bank, which you might be familiar with. Otherwise, Rosenberg has done a lot of work for Marvel.
Yeah.
Tyler Boss recently did a interiors for Department of Truth, so it is, or was it Something to Kill the Children? One of those Tynion hits. So it is an all-star indie team going to work on this. So I may say never. I've rarely seen an independent series put this much effort into getting retailers and audience members information about a book, promotion. It's been pretty crazy. They've done campaigns on Instagram. They have sent us.
They directly mailed us all kinds of posters
to our home.
A letter right from the creative team.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of great work.
They also mailed us retailers a copy of issue number 1 that we got to read, so that was really nice and really cool of them. So this was the preview that we got mailed to us. I read it today, and I'm just going to give you guys the upshot of the, first of all, it's big. This is a really big first issue. It is broken up into multiple chapters. So the premise of this is, it is an ongoing post-apocalyptic coming-of-age story about gangs of children trying to survive after the world ended in 1989. One of my favorite things about this book so far is the, trope of all the different factions of kids, like you see in a high school. The factions are different. Don't get a ton of it in the first issue as far as exposition goes, but you can visually see the different gangs. The one that seems like our protagonists are a group of kids in a record store. So, very 1980s feeling to it. The artwork is great, and I'm just going to show you guys one page from it. It won't reveal anything. This one does look pretty different from the rest of it, but it just looks so good. There's lots of spreads inside. They use the comics medium really well. So, not sure if I'm supposed to show that or not, but I did.
See if we ever get mailed anything again.
So I think it's really cool. It was a really good first issue, oversized, like I said, so lots of meat for you to sink your teeth into. What's the furthest place from here? Well, I'm down for the ride. Are you? So
I wanted to read that. There was only time for one of us to read it beforehand, and Megan grabbed it up.
I think it's really cool. So when they sent it to us, also just so you guys could see some behind the scenes stuff. So if you notice, and also on the first page, they put, this is not going to be in the comic, but they made a comic for retailers, telling them what this is.
Wow.
This will not be in the comic, but
it's just for us.
They made a comic just for us, but if you notice, there's no title on here, but on the bag and board, you'll see it when I put it back in. When you put it back in, you can actually see the title on it, so.
That's really cool.
Pretty neat. So I think this is going to be cool, and I just really appreciate all the effort they put into promoting this work. So congratulations to them on that. Let's check out some variants. This is the Martin B cover. The Young cover C. You see the record store kids that I was talking about.
Yeah, see, I was hoping you were going to say they were in a comic shop, but a record store, that's kind of like a sister company to a comic shop.
Then we have the cover D Bendis. And then, check this out. This is the deluxe edition 7-inch record. I'm sorry I don't have a price for you guys on this. I'll put that in the comments later. But yeah, get a record with it as well. That's very cool. I also recommend you guys go check out their Instagram because they're doing a giveaway on that as well. So.
Is that record going to have original music or don't know?
I'll put that info in the comments.
Okay. So...
Next up is...
I thought it was me next for some reason.
Nope. I swooped in and took it.
Yeah.
This is a new, really interesting series. I'm a huge Aquaman fan, and even when I saw this solicited, I had a lot of questions about, what is this? So this is Aquaman Green Arrow Deep Target. It's a new miniseries by Brandon Thomas, who wrote is currently writing the Aquaman: The Becoming series with Jackson Hyde. It's funny. I saw this cover and I was like, okay, yeah, you've got Aquaman, Green Arrow there, and then I got a chance to skim through this issue, and I realized there's more to this cover than what you may see. So I'm not going to give it away because that's a big part of the issue, but definitely look very closely at this cover because this is described as a mind-bending, world-altering series. And that seems like pretty big talk for an Aquaman Green Arrow. Two people who don't seem to that's a Flash thing to do. Flash is always right in the middle of bending time and space and everything, but not Aquaman and Green Arrow. So I'll set it up with that as you're reading it, there is you think it's going one way until you realize that things are a little flipped on their head in this world. So there is also the return of an organization. DC loves their organizations that first appeared back in 1965, and I don't think they've appeared many times. So it's a pretty cool thing. I had to look it up. That has a new leader to it. That if it is who I think it is pretty interesting. This character in a new light. So this is a miniseries. I believe it's only maybe 5 or 6 issues. I can't remember for sure. It's a shorter series. But both of these characters don't have their own ongoing series at the moment. Right. And I feel like this is also setting up stuff to come for them as well. So really interesting. Like I said, take a look at that cover, see if you can figure out what's actually going on here. And we've got a variant for it. This is the INHYUK Lee variant, which I love how bright this one is. This is so cool. And if you didn't know, this year is the 80th anniversary of Aquaman and Green Arrow, who both debuted in the same book. So this is kind of a nice nod to more fun comics that they both appeared in 80 years ago. So,
okay, so an interesting new indie book that I've been reading about is The Rush. It's by Cy Spurrier. So there's a few settings that I'm interested in because I don't think they're used very much, and this happens to be one of them. This is sort of the Yukon back during the gold rush. I think that's a great time and place to tell a story. I think that would have been an interesting time to have lived in, where you could quit your job because all your friends are running off to go mine for gold. You might get rich. But this is right towards the end of it. This is set at it's sort of the last great gold rush. A lot of people go up into the Yukon, and in the wilderness of the Yukon, it is just kind of lawless. But more than that, this has a horror element to it. It says in the solicitation, there's giant spider tracks in the snow with blood around. And so I think it's going to be more than just lawlessness. I think there's going to be some horrific elements to it as well. So I'm interested. I just sort of like this setting.
I love period piece horror too. Not just like so far back, but this is kind of enough where we can relate to it. Like we kind of understand things, but it's still far enough back that it kind of has that no cell phones, no technology.
Yeah, and there is a town in it. I think it's called Brokehoof is the town. And it's probably just one of those pop-up towns that would happen with the gold rush where there wouldn't be a lot of law. People could just kind of, you had to be careful. Be nice to your neighbor or he could kill you sort of thing. So yeah, this is the new one, The Rush by Cy Spurrier. And then we have a B cover right here.
And it's going to be weird with Cy Spurrier. I mean, if you've read any of his Legion stuff or anything like that, he can get weird.
And I mean, look, they wrote the title on the B cover, but then words across it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, up next is Avengers 50. This is legacy numbering 750 though, so they're going to do something big for it. Okay, so this is a lot going on, but this is going to be a 96-page issue. Crazy.
Wow.
Big issue. So it's going to be the conclusion of World War She-Hulk. So get ready for that. It's also as Marvel likes to say, we'll say though, multiple game-changing stories. But the most important one probably is that the Avengers must assemble a multiversal team to fight against the latest iteration of the Masters of Evil. So that is the biggest piece here, and you may have seen some beginnings of this in the Avengers Hulk Free Comic Book Day that was given out as well, so here comes that. But yeah, 96 pages, so definitely prepare your wallet for this one.
And we do know there is a new Avengers series starting later that's kind of a multiversal Avengers team put together. So this could be the first appearance of some of those new team members.
I think you are right, yes. So, all right, let's take a look at the anniversary variant covers we're getting with this. So,
well, first I want to say I haven't seen this many floating heads since Todd NAUCK variants. It's like they took all his
they
variants,
just took all the variants and stuck them on
pasted them in. So lots of floating heads.
All right, we have
that's very sweet.
The Carnero Stormbreakers variant, Vision and Scarlet Witch.
His cape is like almost like hair.
Almost like hair,
Everything about them sort of entwining. Yeah.
Then we have the Caselli variant, very much an anniversary cover. Next up we have the Infinity Saga Phase 1 variant by Arthur Adams. The Martin variant, really cool, like art gallery style. That's super cool.
Jarvis looks like checking it out.
Then we have the McGuinness variant.
Oh, and is that the other team?
That's villain heads.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because it's got that young Thanos and everything. That's really cool.
Really well considered. And then we have the Ron Lim variant. So Avengers 50, Legacy 750. Check it out.
Okay, our last featured comic is a new Hellboy miniseries. It's a 5-issue series called The Silver Lantern Club. And in this, Hellboy learns the mysteries behind an exorcism gone wrong. He hears about this from, I guess he considers him a relative. It is Simon Brutenholm. So related to, of course, the man that Hellboy considers to be his dad. And I'm guessing that's him in the picture right there. And so Simon is part of this Silver Lantern Club, which is a secret society. And I guess he is the one that pulls Hellboy into this weird and sordid story. So Mignola is co-writing this. He keeps kind of expanding the Hellboy universe, but with the help of other people. And that's what this is going to be about. So just the one cover. And now, as promised, we're going to get to our other number ones, of which there are numerous.
Yes, a lot.
So first up is the Magic Order, or Magic Order 2. This is the sequel to the first Magic Order series by Mark Millar. And if you hadn't heard, that got picked up by Netflix with Mark Millar's Netflix deal to produce shows. And the first volume of it was a few years ago, and now it's returning, this time with artist Stuart Eminem, one of my favorite artists. And I can't tell completely how tied in this is with the first run of it. The first run of Magic Order dealt with a family who all were kind of warlocks. And
pretty bloody. They were getting killed off one by one.
They were getting killed off. They had to kind of come together even though they hadn't spoken in a long time. This one talks about a magical turf war has broken out, and the London chapter of the Magic Order has entered the scene, and they are up against the Eastern European warlocks. And there's a new leader of the Magic Order who's trying to keep the peace between these two warring groups of warlocks. So I saw some preview pages. It is a very mature title, but in the way of, a lot of Mark Millar stuff is. So this is, this is number 1. I believe this will also just be a mini-series. And just the one cover. I think there's some more covers, but you can go on Previews World and check those out.
Yep.
All right, another one of the Darkhold one-shots. This is going to be Darkhold Blade. This is probably going to be one of the coolest ones. But in this issue, we're going to see vampires rule the world and Blade as he rules over them all. Of course, all these heroes are having to read from the Darkhold and get gone into madness. Get gone into madness.
Get gone.
So, this will be a cool one. This is the A cover. Then we have the Bustos Stormbreakers variant and a connecting cover.
I mean, I keep saying it, but they keep putting Blade in so many things these days. It's you know, they're definitely doing a lot with his property. Okay, so next up is Death of Doctor Strange Avengers. So this is the one shot that ties in with Death of Doctor Strange. He's gone, so how does this affect the Avengers? Well, you can kind of see on the cover, some magical rampaging juggernaut attacks them. I'm guessing this creature was kept at bay by Doctor Strange. He's gone, and now all the Avengers are trying to stop it, and they're having a bugger of a time. So this is the regular cover, and then here is the Crease Lee variant. And also, there is the Death of Doctor Strange, Strange Academy one-shot tie-in. Strange Academy closes down while they investigate the death of Doctor Strange. Well, you know, you might say, okay, well, that's it, they're closed down. But the two characters you see on the cover here, Eirik and Alvi, their mom is Enchantress. So, of course, they're not going to let the school close down without, you know, raising some hell. And so here is the variant by Henrikon. And lastly, we have a Peach Momoko variant.
Wow.
And, you know, us retailers, we don't know exactly how many of these one-shots to buy. So it's a very good idea that you ask your store to get these for you while it's still open order. Because these are the sort of things, sometimes we order way too many, and other times they fly off the shelf. And it turns out tons of people want them, and who would have known?
So I may have missed it, but a lot of these variants have Venom on them. But nothing's saying this is like Venom Appreciation Month or anything.
Nope.
I noticed a couple back there was one with Venom on it. I think we saw a Wolverine variant where he had the Venom eyes. So just thought it was interesting that they didn't make a note of it. I don't know if it's for the movie, but
maybe,
you'd think it would
maybe
be.
it's also because the Venom #1 launch.
It could be that. Yep.
That is makes a
Interesting.
good point, though.
Next up is a new miniseries. This is a 6-issue miniseries about The Thing. He is getting his own solo miniseries. This is by Walter Mosley, who is an acclaimed mystery and crime fiction author. So Marvel likes to pull in some kind of prose novelists to have their hand at these. We have a lot of our big writers at Marvel right now that started in prose. And in this one, there is a chance encounter that will take Ben Grimm from Yancey Street all the way to the far reaches of the cosmos, meeting a whole bunch of characters, new and old, along the way. So if you're a big fan of The Thing, or I don't know, big fan of Yancey Street, this might be for you.
I like Ben Grimm.
Yeah. You like Ben Grimm, but you don't like The Thing.
Correct. Yeah.
I just like him when he was just
with no powers.
just a
pilot.
A big potato of a man. So this is our A cover, and this is awesome. This is the Libra Mayho cover.
Wow.
So we've been seeing Libra Mayho doing all those Detective Comics variants, but man, he can draw a thing.
Yeah, that is the Thing cover I didn't know I needed until I saw it. That's
is he
really
holding
good.
like Dr. Doom's mask?
He's
Or
holding
maybe his head?
It's yeah. I think
Or
it's
probably
the
a
whole-
Doombot head or something like that. But
Let's hope.
this is a beautiful cover.
All right, next up is Victor Crowley, Hatchet Halloween 3. So, if you don't know anything about this character, well, he's a tortured spirit, and he's coming after vengeance. So, anyway, this should be coming out right at Halloween, I think. So, not done with all the Halloween stuff yet in these solicitations. So, there's going to be 3 new tales in here. So, continue your horror stuff.
Have you seen those movies?
I have not, actually. I'm surprised I have not.
I might have seen the first one,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't recall.
You watch a lot of horror movies.
I
and
know. I
thought-
actually have not seen these, but this is a very enduring character. A lot of people who like Hatchet like to pick up everything Hatchet related. So this is the Dead Rise cover A. Then we have Jack's
great.
Back. That's what this cover B is called. And then cover C is called Lost Your Head. So very playful, very Halloween, very horror.
All right, so here's another number one that has an interesting premise. It's called Digger, and it is about a grave digger who was formerly a monster hunter. But what he does now is he buries monsters other monster hunters kill, and he ensures that they don't come back because so many monsters just have ways of regenerating and coming back to life. That's his job. Well, what happens when his mentor retires is that he inherits the business and he has to train this new girl who's joined the job who has sort of her own problems too. Thinks it sounds like a pretty good premise. I think this is a number one. I'm gonna give a read to. I haven't heard of something quite like this. You know, keeping things dead. Because I imagine some things are gonna crawl on the ground, get away, and then he's gonna have to monster hunt it. You know, in that sense.
Yeah.
So, and just the one cover.
Next up, this is God Killer Spiderland number one. Now, if I tried to explain God Killer, we'd be here all day. But if you've read the last few volumes of it, you kind of know this is a very interesting, art-heavy, very indie series. And this one says, if this means anything to you, the relationship between the anti-heroine and the bounty hunter heats up as they discover a brand new sorcery they hope will help them rescue someone close to them before it's too late. So this is a very mature title, but really interesting art, really interesting covers. There's a lot more covers on Previews World to check out. And I believe the last volume of this, number one, completely sold out, like everywhere. It was a huge hit.
The art just calls.
It really does, yeah.
So.
All right, next up is Harbinger. Harbinger from Valiant has new number one. So the Harbingers are a group with psychic abilities, and apologies, I've never read any Harbinger stuff, but this one's going to focus on a telepath with no memory. So we'll see how that works out. So if you've been missing some Valiant in your life, or you liked the older Harbinger series, then maybe sign up for this one. So this is our A cover, and then cover B by Rays.
Yeah, Harbinger is a little bit like first class of the X-Men type thing. These students trying to figure out their powers, and then I know the older one learned that like the whole organization was corrupt and they had to escape and everything. So if you like those teen superheroes kind of trying to make it on their own, I think Harbinger is a really good one for that.
So this series caught my attention. I ended up going down the rabbit hole reading more about what it's about. It's the Winchester Mystery House, which is a real place in San Jose, California. Some of you may have heard of it. It's the house built by Sarah Winchester, who, of course, inherited the Winchester fortune, which they said
the gun.
Yes, was built upon a gun that killed so many people and continues to. There's still Winchester guns out there. And the house she made is insane. In fact, you can take tours of it. It's out in San Jose, California. This comic is going to go back to when the house is being built. So Sarah Winchester is alive. She's going to be building this house. There's a lot of theories on why she made this place so crazy. So it ended up 24,000 square feet. It has 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 stairways and fireplaces, 17 chimneys. I mean,
how do you remember all this?
Because I'm interested.
No, I've watched a ton of stuff about this, but like the staircases lead nowhere.
Yeah.
They just lead to like a roof, and the doors open into nothing. Because apparently she went to a fortune teller or something, and they said, you have to non-stop build this house.
Yeah.
You can never stop adding on to it.
You got to trick the ghosts.
You've got to trick the ghosts so they can't find you in the house.
Yeah, so I'm interested to read this. I read a whole bunch about it, and if we make our way to San Jose, California someday, we got to check this out. So let's see, and just the one cover to show off.
Next up, this one was really cool. I hadn't heard of this one until I started doing the research. This is Carriers, number one, and it is about a band of weaponized carrier pigeons that stand between the citizens of New York and the terrors that lurk around them. So these are kind of you see there they've got like armor on and everything. They each have their own code names, and in this they now face their biggest threat, which is the Croc King climbs out of the sewers. So it is carrier pigeons versus a crocodile. I just love this, like the idea of like this hidden world. You're being protected by things you don't even know are there, and I mean the little bird's got like all these weapons and everything.
Yeah, this is more action than horror, but it reminds me a little Stray Dogs in a way. So secret world that pets are doing, but it isn't necessarily family stuff. Yeah, that's interesting.
And then we have the B cover. This is by Jeff Johnson.
All right, next up we have Commander Rao. This is a Scout comic. It's just a one-shot. So it is a war story about a rogue commander who confronts a tyrannical baron. It sort of takes place, I guess, in the future, based on the solicitation, because songs are sung about this person's deeds, but the motives are not necessarily known. So we'll find out more about it in this one shot from Scout.
Okay, so this new comic is called My Bad. So ever since I heard that expression back in, I don't know, 1991, I always thought that somebody should make a comic out of the expression "my bad," and they now have done it. The good news is this is a humor comic. That is a purely humor comic. In fact, it is a superhero spoof comic. They're trying to create their own little universe. Some of the they didn't mention a lot of the hero names or villain names. I think there's Emperor King. There's a character called the Chandelier. There's a hero called the Accelerator. I imagine he'd be sort of like Flash. So to me, it's reminiscent. Maybe they're trying to do a Tick World sort of thing, and I think comics could very much use that. Not the Tick, not nearly enough of it comes out anymore. So I don't know. Hopefully they can pull it off. Hopefully it'll be funny with characters that will excite us and make us laugh. So this is My Bad #1. They obviously didn't have the trade dress on this yet. So
Ranger Stranger. I love the title of this. So this is Ranger Stranger Fall Edition, and this is about it's a dark comedy set in like a majestic woods. Gave me a lot of Yogi Bear vibes of the forest ranger and the park or the woods. And this is where hikers love to go, and campers, and to see the scenery and see the animals. But in this park, everything is out to kill you. All the plant life, all the animals, the deer, the raccoons, everything. So you can see there, it's kind of idyllic, but then around it, you're looking out of a bear's mouth. So I think this sounds really funny, and I'm really interested to give this one a read.
On a week like this where there's so many #1s and so many of these are indie, it is more important than ever for people to let us know what they want, because we start, ordering, and it's like there's just too many.
Yeah.
And so we have to pick ones that we order very little of, and then, sometimes it disappoints people. So.
All right, another one from Scout. This is called Thud. So this is what more grounded in reality, it seems, book than most we've been going over today, but this is about a 30-something creative who is just sort of feeling apathetic and directionless in life, but they've had one constant in their life, and that is a comic character they've created. I'm guessing the comic character's name was Thud. So we'll find out in this comic about comics.
And I think our last #1 for today is Boston Metaphysical Society, Ghosts and Demons. This is a one-shot. So there have been other Boston Metaphysical Society comics and things. I don't know if I've ever read any of them, to be quite honest. But if you're interested, just want to let you know that this one-shot is available to order. And now we move on to cool covers and other comics. Other comics are issues #2, #3s, just things that are noteworthy where it's time to tell your store if you want to sign up for it or not, if you enjoyed that first or second issue.
Speaking of cool covers, this one's horrifying. This is Alien #8, the Chavrin variant. And I think this is the final part of that storyline that just started with the planet that's kind of farm-like, and yeah, so now it is the settlement versus the aliens, and you can kind of see that reminiscent here in this idyllic country,
Yeah.
But just horrifying face huggers.
Sometimes I could use a good rest like she's having. Just not with a face
I was about to
hugger.
say, you don't wake up very well in this. You get a lot of chest pain.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Amazing Fantasy number 4. This is just the A cover, and it looks like Storm is writing a. This looks like the Frank Frazetta.
Yeah, I was
Right.
wondering if it was
You're
the
right.
Death Dealer.
Yeah, so I think this is almost certainly an homage to that. So this is Amazing Fantasy number 4.
And she's got Captain America shield too,
Mhm.
I see. Okay, so this is the Shalvey variant for Amazing Spider-Man number 78. This is in honor of Miles Morales' 10th anniversary. And in this issue, the solicitation saying that we get to meet the people behind the Beyond Corporation, the one that's been in all the ads, the people that are supposed to be sort of funding Ben Riley.
Mhm.
You know, we haven't gotten to read any advanced stuff yet,
Yeah.
so but that's what it seems like.
Once
is
again,
going
there's
on.
another Venom.
You're right, another one.
Next up is Black Widow number 12, and this is, of course, one of the Jusco variants. So if you're trying to collect all of those, this is a really nice one to get. And apparently this issue is about Black Widow going to a fancy party, which, of course, is not going to end in chaos or breaking glass or anything.
All right, next up is Avengers Tech On number 4. This is the Peach Momoko variant, number 4 of this 6-part miniseries.
Speaking of miniseries, this is the Ron Lim variant for Darkhawk number 3, which I didn't know this beforehand. I don't know if I just missed it, but this is a miniseries. It only goes 5 issues. So, you know, you might want to sign up for it, but thought I'd get that information up to everyone. So that's the Ron Lim variant for Darkhawk number 3.
Welcome to the Star Wars corner, because we got a bunch of Star Wars covers here. So this is Star Wars High Republic Adventures Monsters of Temple Peak, number 3 of 4. Then we have Star Wars number 18. This is the handbook variant, this time with Dengar on it. I'll be interested to see when we get the first one of these in, because they haven't had any of the caption or
I
whatever
know,
on the
because
side.
they look strange without the
They do.
caption.
Although it could look cool too if it didn't have that. But
Yeah.
then we have the John Tyler Christopher action figure variant, this time with an Ewok.
Yeah, that's one of Wicked's friends.
Yeah. Then we have what they're doing now, which are the Carbonite variants, which are the all gray, silver looking covers. Then we have the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary, and this one's really cool because this is Star Wars Rebels on the cover. Characters that have only appeared in a couple of little miniseries. And then, of course, for Star Wars Bounty Hunters, this is, I believe, Bounty Hunters number
17.
17, yes. This is the Carbonite variant for that. And then we have the Handbook variant with Valence. And then another really cool one, Thrawn on it.
Yeah,
I
Thrawn.
mean, that's a big deal. And one of the Sith Inquisitors. This is the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary variant for that one. And finally, Star Wars High Republic number 11. This is the Peach Momoko variant. So I know Peach Momoko's variant for High Republic before was a big ratio variant. So this one, I believe, is just open order.
Yep, just open order.
So
That's nice when they do
yeah,
that.
you definitely want to get this one.
Okay, here is the Jusco variant to Daredevil number 35. So if you're a Kingpin fan, this is definitely a cover for you. In the issue, Elektra's going up against Bullseye. So definitely two people who have a lot of history, a lot of reason to fight. In fact, one of them killed the other one. at one point.
I like this
In a
too
Mickey
because
book.
I imagine he's sitting at this desk and he's so heavy. He's got one of the chairs that like sinks down and now he's stuck like really low on his desk. Next up is Eternals. This is for Eternals number 7, and it's really nice Peach MOMOKO variant with Thanos on it.
All right, next up we have some Inferno stuff for Inferno number 2 of 4. So this is, of course, the end of Jonathan Hickman's X-Men story, started back with House and Powers of X. So this is the A cover for Inferno number 2. This is the Decal variant. Then we have the Marvel Masterpieces Jesco variant and Momoko. And last up, the Vega variant. So lots to choose from.
Marvel really, they give people a lot of opportunity to get like all of a series of variants, you know, because right now they have the Miles ones that you could be collecting, the Jesco ones you could be collecting. Yeah, they just have their variant series. So this is the cover to Marauders number 25. This cover is by Mirko Andolfo.
Cool.
So, yeah.
It's been a while since we've seen her do a big big 2 cover.
So. Too busy doing her own stuff. So this is a variant cover though.
Next up, really cool.
Yeah,
This is Miles Morales Spider-Man number 32, the Chris Anka variant, sporting his new threads on the cover. This is also a style of cover that's been going around, that kind of one color standing out. So really nice one there.
Okay, this is Action Comics 1036. This is cover B, the Julian Totino Tedesco variant. This is the beginning of the War World saga. So it's supposed to bring new characters and just a new corner of the DC universe. So they say it's going to be the biggest thing since the death of Superman. I believe it.
You convinced me.
That confidence.
Your conviction.
I got no choice.
Okay, here is the Matina variant to Deathstroke Incorporated number 2. Or maybe it's just Deathstroke Inc. number 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure
still don't
either.
know what's behind. You know, there's not an organization in it called Deathstroke Incorporated.
Maybe there will be by the end of this issue.
Yeah.
So in this issue, there's definitely some things going on. Deathstroke and Black Canary are sent into space. I was joking with Andy earlier today that, you know, with movies, if they do enough of them, they eventually go to space. And I just noticed, I like Robert Rodriguez. He's a director I follow. And he's making a Machete in Space movie. I guess with Danny Trejo. So
Yeah, you got Jason X. You've got all the movies where eventually you got to go to space.
Hellraiser went to space.
Yep.
Yeah. So Machete's going to be up there, and now Deathstroke and Black Canary.
Next up, this is Detective Comics 1044, returning to Libermejo, and this is really cool because I would almost think this would be a variant cover for Batman Reptilian, with the kind of sewer and the teeth and everything. But I love this cover. Such a creepy cover.
So what are the odds that there are 2 covers this week where we're looking out the mouth of something, and that both of them went to you as well? Like,
I'm drawn to them.
I don't know if that's good luck or bad luck or what.
All right, this is Harley Quinn number 8. This is part 2 of Fear State, but this is also the Derek Chew variant for Harley Quinn number 8.
They are so excited.
Love and life.
Yeah.
They're not afraid.
Okay, this is the Manipul variant for Robin number 7. This issue claims that there's going to be a smooch heard around the world, and that during this deadly tournament Robin's in, you know, with the Lazarus tournament, that he is maybe going to have a girlfriend at the same time. I think I know who. I've been reading the series. It's been really good. And I don't know, I'm equal parts excited about the tournament and about can Damien handle, you know, affection.
It's cool. We don't have it here, but the A cover as well has Damien reading one of his manga that he's been reading this entire thing, and on the cover you might see who his new main girl's gonna be.
Yep.
Next up is Human Remains number 2. This just launched this week. with number 1. And this is just a reminder to ask your store for it if you want to continue getting it. Always let them know about those kind of things, because with these smaller series, they don't end up ordering a ton of them. So this is the A cover. And then we have the B cover by Hickson. And then there is a Human Remains number 2 second printing coming out.
Well, that says number 1, actually.
I meant to say, I was looking at a 2 and a 1. Number 1 second printing.
Yep. And now they know we don't edit this.
Well, the last one was a number 2 first printing, so this is a number 1 second printing. I just got it backwards.
All right, this is crossover number 9, cover B, the Penosin variant.
Put up your dukes.
Yeah.
That's a good cover. It's just a strong cover with our main character Ellie on it. Okay, so this is the cover to Frontiersman number 2. This is just the regular cover. So, yep, and in this one, an old foe, a foe from his history, comes back to confront the Frontiersman.
Strong covers for that series.
Yeah.
So this is Mother of Madness number 3. This is the final issue of this crazy miniseries, and this is the Linux variant.
What she's doing with her eyes is just weird to me. Okay, so this is the Bayreuth variant to Radiant Black number 9. Even as the city recovers, Marshall asks himself if he should stay in the city or just pack up and leave, because he is not the most popular individual anymore based on what has happened lately. All right, and now we're getting to other printings and graphic novels.
First off, this is really cool. This is Ninja Turtles or TMNT Last Ronin Design Archive Edition. So we've seen stuff like this before where, you know, they'll put out a black and white version of a book. But this one, it actually says every page is new. This is like behind the scenes, concept art. Probably, I think there's a lot with Eastman and Laird talking about the series. So yeah, if you want kind of the bonus features for Last Ronin, this is what you're looking for, and it's only going to be $8.99, so it's not like a huge extra thing.
I know they conceived of the whole Last Ronin thing a long time back, and they've been working on it bit by bit. So I'm not surprised that there's
it talks about like
extra
kind
stuff.
of the conception of this whole idea, and I'd be cool to see some early stuff from years ago, some drafts of the series.
Yeah.
All right, next up, this is the second printing for Death of Doctor Strange number 1. It's going to be a 5-part miniseries. We actually didn't get any of our A covers for number 1. We didn't get those shipped to us. Hopefully they're arriving this week. Not sure if that happened to any other stores out there, but if so, the number 1 second printing is here to the rescue.
And this is Kang the Conqueror number 2 second print. The number 2 just blew up because it had the first Ravonna Renslayer as a Moon Knight. This is set back in ancient Egypt, and so, you know, she's not a new character or anything. She is linked with Kang, but it's definitely the first time we've ever seen her as a Moon Knight with her own Moon Knight outfit and everything.
And she was in the Loki series on Disney Plus, and then we know we're getting a Moon Knight series. I think a lot of people are speculating, are they going to actually, with all the time traveling involved with Kang and stuff, are we going to see her as a Moon Knight in the MCU? So pretty cool. Next up is Moon Knight number 3 second printing. I have a feeling this is going to be one of our, at least for the number 1, or how many printings are they going to go to, because this is one of our next big series. I haven't seen the heat on a series since probably Hulk and Venom. So this is number 3 second printing.
Yeah, I know this is McNiven, but I get like a little bit of a Frank Miller feel from this too.
Negative
really,
spaces.
Really cool cover. And this one was the first full appearance of Hunter's Moon, the sort of guy who claims he's the other Fist of Khonshu.
And then we have X-Men Trial of Magneto number 2 second print.
It's my turn next, but I had to have a drink first. Okay, so Basilisk, they're sending them all back to do more prints, at least the first 3 issues so far. So this is issue number 1, third print. This is issue number 2, second print. And then they're also doing issue number 3, second print. They didn't have the cover ready for that, but it is announced. This is still the time period that we have to order it. Basilisk has been a really good series. I've been personally enjoying it. Cullen Bunn's writing it. It has to do with these sort of serial killer people with powers related to the senses. So one can kill you through look. One has like a smell thing that they can kill you with. I mean, it's pretty gory. It also has to do with revenge, as there's a character trying to get revenge on what they did to her family.
All right, this is Never Never, number 1, second printing. If you missed out on the first one, this is from Heavy Metal. It is sort of just a grown-up version of the Never Never Land idea, a place where children don't grow up, and the adults are the enemy. Take that in a very gritty version, and that's what the story is. So this is the number 1, second print.
Okay, so they're releasing 2 omnibuses for Marvel's event Empire. The first one is Empire, Avengers, and Fantastic Four. So all the Empire stuff related in those books, so many I didn't list them. It was a ton of stuff. This is $125. So if you liked Empire and you want it all collected, this is the first book that you're going to want. But there's another one too. There's also Empire Omnibus, Hulkling, and Wiccan. So this is a whole nother slew of books. There was a lot of Empire tie-ins, and I knew there were a lot. I read a lot of them myself, but I'm surprised there was enough for 2 of these.
Yeah.
But there are. These are hardcover. They're $125 each, and I guarantee stores are not going to be ordering many of these. If you want one, you should definitely ask your store.
Next up is Star Wars Insider. This is our... I put Fox. I actually meant to say FOC variant.
Yes.
And I was like, why does it say Insider Fox? No, this is the FOC variant. Then we have the newsstand edition. It's all about Boba Fett in this one because I'm guessing it's going to have a lot about the new show in it. So I'm excited about this.
Debuting right at the end of December, December 29th.
And then this really fun Halloween one. This is the previews exclusive cover.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, next up we have some second printings of death metal soundtracks. So this is, I got 3 different ones here. So this is Dark Knight's Death Metal number 1 soundtrack special edition with Rise Against on the cover. These are all new covers, and they do include the vinyl, like, what do they call it? Flexi. I want to say plexi, but it's flexi single as well. So this is the number 1. The number 2 features Gray Days. These are all second prints. And then the number 3, it features Denzel Curry. I will put the price, and I was trying to look up the price real quick, but I couldn't find it. I think a lot of times these are a little bit weird, but I want to say they're 20. I'll put that in the comments.
I think they're about $20. We actually got an email from Lunar, our DC distributor, right before the show, and the email told me something I wanted to know, because last time this was very limited. We ordered a bunch of them, and we got like 2 or 3 of them. Mm-hmm. These are being done print to order. So whatever our order is, they are going to get them.
Okay, so you should get these if you do pre-order them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is pretty cool. This is an original graphic novel, and it was about something I didn't know about. It's called Better Angels, Kate Warren Adventure. So this is, Kate Warren is a historical figure I just didn't really know about. So everyone knows Lincoln was assassinated, but one thing that a lot of people don't know, including myself, is his first year as president, somebody was trying to assassinate him, and they got stopped by our nation's first female private investigator. This is all true. Her name was Kate Warren. And so some smart individual said, wow, that's really incredible. Why has nobody gotten this story out there more? And so here it is. So this is not, this was never released as individual comics. This was done as an original graphic novel. And this is the first time you can order it. It is $20 or $19.99 rather. So pretty cool story.
It's cool.
All right, this is Red Room. Finally, the bunch of first issues are getting collected in trade paperback if you have not managed to get your hands on these. So this is, of course, the series by Ed Piskor about the live stream murders on the dark reaches of the internet. Meet the killers, meet the victims, meet who would be the viewers of such things in the ugliest corners of cyberspace. This is a $20 trade paperback that collects all these loosely connected one-shots.
It's just scary to have all those issues in one place. You put it on your bookshelf and you kind of get a cold chill as you walk by it.
Yep. Do you have enough guts to order a book with that much guts on the cover?
Next up, this is really cool. I mean, the Star Wars manga scene has really grown. There's a bunch of them now, and this is Star Wars Guardian of the Whills. This is an adaptation of a book, a novel that was by Greg Rucka. It's funny how it's actually, the novel was by a very famous comic book writer, the inventor of Winter Soldier, and they're now adapting it into manga form. And this is a somewhat prequel to Rogue One about Baze Malbus, Malbus and True Imwe, who were the follower of the Jedi or the Whills without actually having Jedi ability themselves, and kind of exploring what's this like religion they're part of without actually being a part of it. So this is really cool. I'm really excited about this one, and I mean, so much easier to read than one of those big books with all those words. So check this out.
Okay, and lastly, Cult of Dracula. This is the graphic novel for it, written by Rich Davis, who's nice enough to come here and do a signing way back before issue 1 even came out. So this is sort of a reimagining of Dracula and his brides in modern day. It's not a retelling though. It is a different story, but there's elements from the original Dracula in it. Certain people's names and certain people's positions, but very, very different work altogether. So if you're interested, this is first graphic novel of it, all 6 issues together for $19.99. And that is our show for today. We made it through all those number ones.
And now you have to make your way through it and figure out what you are going to order this week. Orders for these for us are due this Sunday. Figure out from your shop when they are due. Most are due Sunday or Monday. So everything's changing in the comic world right now. But figure out from your store what you need to know.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And if you're watching on YouTube and we've been helpful, hit subscribe. We will see you next time.